Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Own Your Essence podcast, where we get to have deep transformational conversations with some of my favorite people. I am your host, April DeMille, and today we have a lady joining us named Rachel Isabella. Rachel is a spiritual mentor, medical intuitive, and a quantum crystal healer. So I'm sure she and I will have lovely fun time. Hey, lady. So I was just reading your introduction, and I kind
Yeah.
of just wanted to start with, um, I guess let's get a little context of how you went from what you said, nursing to
hmm
intuitive quantum or intuitive, yes, intuitive, medical intuitive, and crystal healer. I'm sorry, my words are all
Yeah.
over the
That's
place.
okay. That's okay. That happens. How did I get there? Uh, hmm. I think that I found that while I was working in a psychiatric facility,
Okay.
I really wondered why there was a lot of pills being given, which I'm not against, but there were issues that seemed to come from like a person's soul, issues from childhood, issues that had not been dealt with. And I felt like it was just like treat them and street them, like just give them the meds and then they go out and they're assigned to a psychiatrist and you never like knew what became of them, and you also didn't know what was the story. And every now and then, when I would sit with somebody and they would tell me their story, it would be so heartbreaking that I would think, well, yeah, of course you are where you are. Of course you are an addict. Of course you're an alcoholic. Of course you are, dealing with all of these things. And I really wanted to understand the root cause of something, whether it's from another life or if it's from the womb or where it came from. And I guess I was always drawn to it because I read Many Lives, Many Masters when I was around
Mhm.
14 by Dr. Brian Weiss.
Great
So
book.
the whole amazing book. So the whole
Yeah.
spirituality thing has always been there. It just needed, I think, some time to come out and to flourish. It needed years and adulthood and growth to
Yeah.
say, you know what, nothing wrong with being a nurse. I loved it.
Right.
But what if I were to concentrate on finding out where the emotional block is on a person
Yeah.
and then helping them to release it? So that's
Yeah.
where the medical intuition comes in, and then the crystal Reiki healing.
But I love that because your nursing background has like set the tone for a lot of like your reference system intuitively. And
hmm
like that is
Yeah.
amazing. I love that.
I love it. I love it that I have that in my background. And I think people feel when I work with them, they feel almost comforted, like, oh, she comes from this background. So
Right.
she's always been interested in helping, or she's always been one of those healers, It can present in so many ways, to
Hmm.
be a healer. It can mean so many different things. I love that I have that in my background.
Yeah. Well, and
Absolutely.
so in my earlier days, I also had a medical background. And I transitioned out of that pretty quickly because I was just like, people fall through the cracks. And like, even in
hmm
my own experience, you can throw all the pills you want at someone, but that's not going to fix the problem. And even sometimes the pills they might like help temporarily, but they actually make the problems worse because we're not,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
So
they
we're,
help the symptoms, but they don't get to the origin. So
right.
what I like to do is get to the origin.
Well,
Right.
and I love that so did you ever read that book called The Body Keeps the Score?
No, because I started with You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and that's like my Bible.
Hmm.
I ever since then I understood the whole thing about the things that stay in your body and your biography becoming your biology and all of that.
Yeah.
So when that book came out, everyone loved it, and I've seen interviews on YouTube of the author about it,
Yeah.
but I haven't read the book because I thought this is probably going to be a lot of the same, that
It's
things
actually
get
really
stored
great.
and stuck.
It's a really great book because the guy specialized in PTSD and he was working in
Okay.
psychiatric hospitals and all the things, and there was all kinds of research happening. And he was helping people get to the root cause because, cool, we have PTSD. What the fuck does that mean? Okay,
Yeah.
so what? So we have these panic freakouts and our brain shuts down and all these things happen, but why? And so he was doing all this work to like unlayer the root cause as well and how to show up for it different for his clients. And it's an
Yeah.
amazing book.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. I think you'd like it. Um,
I'll try
I,
it.
yeah, you'll have to try it out. So quantum crystal healing, how did you
Mhm.
kind of integrate some of that into your practices?
So I got certified in all kinds of different Reiki modalities,
Okay.
plus crystals, plus access bars. What else?
You do
Yeah, and I kind
bars?
of, yeah, I do.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I've never met anybody that does bars, so that's actually really neat.
Yeah. And I combined it all into a 48-hour healing session that combines crystals and Reiki in like a hospital. And
Okay.
in the middle, I put the person's name and where they are in the world and
Yeah.
it's and what the healing is for. And it sends energy for 48 hours. A lot of people say that it's similar to a grid,
Yeah.
which it might be. My understanding of a crystal grid, and I might be wrong, so correct me if I am. My understanding of a grid is that it has to do with like manifesting love or money or something, and that what I do is for healing. It's for releasing a block. It's for, so there are
That's
similarities obviously in the design,
yeah.
but I have a feeling that the reason for them might be different.
Yeah. And that's fair. I think there's something to be said about people picking and choosing the parts that work for them and then creating something different with it.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah,
I also took Reiki. I'm also a certified Reiki master. However, I don't do Reiki like anything I was taught. And I had been doing Reiki since I was a child without even understanding that it was called
yeah,
something. And I do it completely different than I was taught and completely different than the way it's taught, everywhere else. And
yeah.
so it's just, we take things and we mold it into our own.
Yeah, so it's intuitive on your
Yeah,
part.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah. It doesn't even have to, you don't even have to be certified. I know a lot of people that have never been certified. I even
right.
have my ex-husband with his first child, my stepson. He told me one time after I got certified for Reiki and I showed him how it was done, he said not to like be rude or anything like that, but when my baby was little, and he would have like a stomach ache, I would put my hands on his
Yeah,
belly and say, take it away, take it away, take it away, take it away.
yeah.
And that was his like prayer to the universe. And he would like move his hands on the stomach and throat,
Yeah.
completely
So he
instinctual,
was
like
like
a father
sweeping
to
it
a
out.
child who is in
Yeah.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
you don't need to be certified to, if
No.
people think that you need to be certified, you really
I
don't.
think
Yeah.
that because I think if you want like the chokurei and access to all that stuff, you have to like do the certification because it's such a
Yeah.
secret, whatever. But like, you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
but as far as anything else, it absolutely is happening intuitively. Like when you fall and you get a cut or whatever, and the first thing you do is you go and touch it. And that's an
Yes.
intuitive Reiki healing right there. Like you're putting energy on it right away. And so I definitely think there's something to be said about us forming things into what works for us.
Definitely. Yeah. I love it when it's intuitive because that means
Yeah.
that everyone has their own style
Yeah.
and we can all continue to learn from each other. Even if we've all been certified, we
Yeah.
can all learn from each other.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And so when you're doing, so you do the distant Reiki basically because you're doing it for like
Yes.
48 hours, which is pretty neat. Um, so I would encourage people that don't know much about Reiki to definitely go look up some of that because distant Reiki is very effective.
Yes, and a lot of people don't believe in it, which I kind of understand. I mean,
Yeah.
they feel like if I can see your hands on top of my body and I can feel the energy, then I'll believe in it. But to know that you're in another country and I'm like, energy, it just goes wherever
It
I tell
definitely,
it
yeah,
to.
there's no energy is not bound by time or our 3D realities at all. And
No.
when I had my first session from my mentor that I certified with, It was distant, and my whole body was on fire like all night.
Yeah.
I didn't even sleep because like my whole body was on fire. And I was like, okay, well, distant is the deal. Like that shit is super
Yeah.
intense. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I hope people try it because, yeah, if you understand, yeah, I think people still need to learn a little bit about energy, and there's still a whole like, oh, that's woo-woo, and you're like, physicists talk about energy.
right.
It's not scary, it's not witchy, it's not weird. Yeah, it's talked about in
Science.
science.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
science. I think what's awesome is that the world's waking up to how much science we don't actually understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's pretty
I love
neat.
the awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So so you're in Argentina, right?
I am.
So how did you make that leap? I know you said you moved there in 2006. How did you decide I'm going to Argentina? I'm going to go do something different. Like what led up to that?
So my parents are from Argentina, and my
Okay.
grandparents, my aunts and uncles, my family's from Argentina. My
Okay.
parents in the 70s moved to New York when they were very young. So
Okay.
that's where I was born, and I grew up in the United States. But I grew up bilingual and bicultural because, we would come here to visit grandma and grandpa and our cousins, and I always grew up with one foot in each place.
Yeah.
And then I met my ex-husband, and he was from Argentina. And we came here together in 2006. So we're no longer together, but we had a child together. And so I stayed. And yeah, just, you know, the,
And so
the long
what
and winding road.
for sure. And so I guess my question is like what how does having a foot in both worlds like how has that played out for you? Like how do you think that's contributed to like your spiritual evolution?
It's helped tremendously in leaving my tribe.
Oh yeah.
I think that
Both
I do a
times.
lot now. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't really identify now as belonging to any place. I
Okay.
no longer identify with my religion that was given to me by family. I feel like, I have a passport from the United States. I have a permanent residency from Argentina. I don't feel a kind of adoration or tremendous loyalty to any country
Okay.
or to a religion. And I
Yeah.
think that that is needed right now as we move away from tribalism and into humanism.
Yeah. It's
And you
part of
see that in
the
the wars that are happening. Yeah.
yeah. It's part of the oneness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we really are one, if we want world peace, then you have to break away from your tribe and not be afraid of the other, not be afraid of the thing or the person that you don't understand. And we
Right.
have to do away with xenophobia. So I think it's helped me tremendously in that. And what's interesting is that the emotional blocks that I see, for the most part, deal with identity, boundaries, or forgiveness. Those are the three things that come up over and over again, whether the energy is stuck in your throat or your legs or your lungs. People, they have problems, they have issues because they are in direct conflict with their tribe
Okay.
and they're not sure of their identity.
Yeah.
Or they don't have the correct boundaries put in place because they don't understand what boundaries are,
Yeah.
or they have not forgiven something that happened and are choosing to not let it go. Those are the three things that come up over and over again. And so, in terms of identity, in terms of that first one, I choose to identify, I guess, as a humanist, as a spiritual person, rather than as I am American, I am Jewish, I am Argentine. Um, I no longer want to belong to a tribe
Yeah.
simply because I was born into it. I want to belong to a tribe that has to do with spiritual people, healers, um, progressive change makers.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it's
can
helped a lot in
understand
that.
that because I have the mentality of like, I'm probably like the least patriotic person I know. I'm like not into
I don't
politics. I'm
care.
super anti-politics. I am not like this proud, I'm proud American. Like I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just kind of like none of that even matters.
It
Um,
doesn't.
it doesn't. And I, so
It
it's,
doesn't.
and I live in Texas where, and this is like contrary to popular opinion in Texas, but like Texas people are like, Texas is its own country and they're super proud and they're super this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm none of that. Like, I'm not territorial. I'm not like,
No.
I'm not this, I'm not in the self-serving um, mentality. I'm not fear-based. I'm not those things. I'm a lot more
Yeah,
tapped into the oneness too. And so I can appreciate where you're coming from with that.
that is so refreshing because
Yeah.
it isn't something that I say out loud a lot.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it
Because
out
most
loud.
people, yeah, most people, their first identity is their country. Absolutely. Oh my God, Argentines,
Yeah.
crazy
Well, that's not to
patriotic,
say
you
that we
know?
don't appreciate like the life path we have before us and all the things that are great that can come of this place or that place or whatever. It's just
Right.
saying that we're not bound or labeled by those places either. And there's so
No, it
much,
isn't who I am.
yeah, it's there's so much
It
more
isn't who
to
I
us.
am.
And even if like you look at like ancestry, like I technically I'm registered Cherokee Indian. And that's actually true. Like I really have Cherokee Indian blood in our family and I have a registration number. But does it matter? Does it matter that I'm just like a 16th or 8th of whatever and the rest of me is
Yeah.
like English and French? Like who fucking cares? Like,
Yeah,
does it
yeah.
really matter?
Yeah, and the other thing that helps me a lot with that is that once you start believing in past lives and reincarnation, you say, I have no idea who I was in a past life. I don't know what my religion was. I don't know what my country was. And if I don't remember, it probably wasn't that important. And in my next life, either I don't want to come back, but let's say I have to come back.
We won't be back.
Um, I won't remember uh, this country or this religion. I won't remember this avatar of who I was. The only
Yeah,
way is to go through the Akashic records or to do a past life regression. Otherwise, you're not tapped into that. So the same way, that is no longer important in the evolution of your soul. It was just part of the avatar.
yeah,
The country that I was born into this time, the religion that I was born into this time has nothing to do with in my next life being born in India as a Buddhist,
yeah,
as a gay man. Like, who knows?
yeah.
You know,
It's
who knows?
like, is
So
right, exactly.
it's
Is it
very
really?
easy. Yeah, that belief in the past lives makes it really easy to like unattach myself to this. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also there's something to be said about the fact that there might be less cell memory or less healing uh, in other alternative like lives happening if you're not attached to
hmm
those either. You're just like, does it really matter?
Yeah, the cell memory that I have a lot of is either like a very irrational fear or an irrational love. So in this life, I am Ashkenazi Jew from Eastern Europe. And when like all the problems started, um, kind of like Fiddler on the Roof, we were kicked out, and my ancestors came to Argentina.
Okay.
Um, I am fascinated with the Mediterranean, like you would not believe.
Okay.
I will watch movies of like Italy and Greece, and something inside me says, I've been there.
Yeah.
Not I want to go there. I've been there. The
Yeah.
other thing is, so that's like an irrational love. There's no reason for me to love that, that place in the world. The other thing is, for instance, an irrational fear. So I have a fear of knives.
Okay.
Like if I see a Quentin Tarantino movie and it's all, being shot up
All
or
swords
whatever, I
and
don't
blood.
care. Yeah, yeah, it means nothing to me. Someone pulls out a knife and I'll start like kind of hyperventilating. So I'm sure I was stabbed to death in a previous life.
Yeah.
Because in this life, I've never been threatened in any way by a knife.
Yeah.
So I know people that can play the piano and they've never taken a lesson.
Yeah.
So in terms of cell memory, it isn't what country I used to belong to or what God I believed in. It's more like a love or a fear that I have that seems to have remained.
Yeah.
That's at least how it shows up in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
How does cell memory show up for you?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure all that out sometimes. Trying to think.
Do you have an irrational fear?
Uh, Not really. I mean, well, sometimes, but it's so as a psychic medium, I've seen a million different things. Like I've seen crazy shit. I've seen I've seen angels, I've seen Bigfoot, I've seen aliens, I've seen it all. Like I've seen some shit. And I am less afraid of those experiences than I would be if I came across a bear. Like I would be more afraid
Yeah.
of a bear than I would to sit
Okay.
next to Bigfoot. Like it doesn't even make sense. But like, and same with humans. I've been more afraid of humans than I have
I
like
get that.
the spirits that are sitting there talking to me in my room all the time, or, other beings that I'm like, okay, this would put any other normal person in a padded room. But here I am going, hey, how you doing? What's up? Like, this is nothing to me, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm desensitized to it because it's my normal.
Yeah.
But like, I would say that when I was younger, I definitely had a fear of sharks, which I don't really anymore. I've just come to
Okay.
understand they're really powerful and beautiful, and I'm never in the water to be afraid of them anyway, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever, right? Um, but now it's more like I don't want to go camping and get eaten by a bear or something like that. Like it would be something
Yeah.
stupid like that. Like it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Most of the psychic mediums that I know are desensitized to what they see. I know mediums that walk around and they'll see a spirit and they're like, oh, okay.
Well, that's the thing
They'll,
is like I'm quite literally right there because I've got a great community and great support and great friends and family and I've got people that'll be like, "Man, I'd love to see what you see." And I'd be like, I know you say that, but like it might scare the shit out of
yeah.
you actually. Like they're always touching me and playing with my hair. Like it doesn't phase me. It's so normal for me. But like my other friend that's a medium, he's amazing and he's like one of my rules is they can't touch me, like it'll freak me out. And he pretty much doesn't want to see them either. So
Yeah.
he'll block that part out as well. I'm just so like I think my veil's just so open that it's just so
Yeah.
normalized for me. And so I do think that there's some desensitization there happening. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the ones that I know have a no touching rule. So
really?
yeah, most of them are like, no, 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 don't. I can see you.
Ugh,
You can come during certain hours, but don't come into my bedroom. Don't
that's
touch my hair.
so
Like,
funny. I'm
yeah,
just
like when
like,
I'm working, but don't,
so I will
yeah.
tell them to get the fuck out of my room. There's times I'm like, I'm busy. I don't want to talk to you. Get out. But like when it comes to like touching my hair, they'll poke me, they'll do all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, what do you want? Like it's actually I've even joked about it because for me, if they're not touching me, I'm like, what's happening? What is wrong? Why are y'all so quiet?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm like that. So it's so normalized for
y-
me that I actually freak out if there's not touching or interaction happening. I'm like, where did you guys go?
are you afraid that maybe they're like planning something against you since
No,
they're
no,
quiet?
no, no, no. They don't have that kind of power over me, but like still, it's still like, why is it so quiet?
It's like a
Um,
mom when kids are upstairs playing, and as long as you can
yeah.
hear them, everything's good. But then all of a sudden it's quiet, and you're like, what the hell's going on?
You're like, there's something happening. Yeah, for sure. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, cell memory. God, yeah, I guess that's it. I think the other thing that kind of came across for me was you talked about playing an instrument without knowing, and I feel like my son is like that. That kid can pick up any instrument and just bang it out, and I mean, he's just always been so talented. He did end up going to band when he was like in junior high for a couple years, but he was super talented even before that. Like it's just in him. And it's like, how
Yeah,
the fuck? So
yeah,
yeah,
that might be something that he brought with him.
yeah,
Sure.
I think so too. I think that definitely happens. Um, so I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. You talked about the fatherless daughter impact, and I want to kind of talk about that with you. I actually can share in that journey with you. Um,
Okay.
so I want to talk about that and then kind of like move into forgiveness.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So let me hear it, lady. What's this fatherless daughter impact in your life?
So, my dad is alive and well,
Okay.
and I hope that, continues to continues that way. I haven't had a relationship with him in 25 years. He's not a bad person. He was just not a good father.
Okay.
And he was in the house with us, but he was emotionally absent. He was just really checked out.
Yeah.
There was nothing given. And I did not know that I was fatherless until I heard Jan Van Sant talk about fatherlessness. I thought fatherlessness meant your father had died or your father had abandoned the family. And there was this other way that you could be fatherless. And there's actually one more. Um, b- uh, Being physically there but emotionally absent. And the other one is not knowing who your father is because your mother doesn't know who he is. And so
Hmm.
you're trying to find him via DNA and ancestry.com and things like that.
Hmm.
So I I always knew at around the age of 12, I started telling my mom that my father didn't love me. I didn't have any other way to verbalize that. I just knew it. It was the indifference, it was the energy of him, towards me. And it wasn't until, our relationship ended when I was 21 and my parents divorced. And I thought, well, there's really nothing here to save. There isn't a relationship. Um, so see ya. And it was only just a few years ago when I read the five love languages that I was like vindicated. My 12-year-old self was vindicated. And I thought, oh my God, not one of those. Not one of those did he do on a regular, consistent basis. None of them.
Yeah.
And I have forgiven him. I've forgiven. What happened was that when I left my ex-husband, I knew that I did not want to attract that kind of person into my life ever again. So I had to work backwards and see what in me had attracted him. And in that level of unworthiness, where did that come from? And it came from the lack of interest of my dad. So I said, okay, I need to forgive my dad. I need to forgive my ex-husband, and I need to forgive myself for having allowed certain things to happen in my marriage that would not have happened if I had loved myself well.
Right.
So that's where I started. In not wanting to create the same in my future, I said I need to heal this unworthiness and this lack of self-love, this lack of being seen or being validated by the first man in my life who um,
He broke your
most
heart.
people think if this man didn't love me, why would any other man? Like
Right.
blood ties us together, but and yeah, so that's where it started from. And then the forgiveness is, I think it's a really important part of personal growth and spiritual development. And a lot of people seem to be really afraid of it because it means that you would have to temper your ego and stop being a victim and stop marinating in the poor me and look what they did to me. That is very comforting and safe and gets you a lot of attention.
It does, but it escapes
So,
all accountability.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. And people, I say it all the time, like you see the word empowered constantly with life coaches, or like empowered is a very clickbaity, sexy word.
for sure.
It really just means self-responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like you said, forgiveness is it's hard work because it holds you accountable. It says, yeah,
Yeah,
these people did these things to me, but what part did you play in that by allowing that to happen? Whether
exactly.
you might have had lack of resources or knowledge or whatever, it doesn't really matter. The fact is you still played a part. Maybe you didn't value yourself, maybe you didn't whatever, which is what we're talking about.
Right.
And in this moment, when you have acceptance in order to have that forgiveness, right? Because they're hand in hand, they're both the same thing. It's because you're saying, oh, well, here's where I have the awareness to see the part I played here. And the
Yes.
only way that this is going to change is if I do it different. And most
Yeah,
people shy away from that heavy fucking lifting. They don't want to do the hard work.
mhm. Yeah, and it isn't about making someone feel like shit. Like I used to be in this Facebook group called like Women Over 40 Starting Over or something like that. And there was this one person who put, he abused me for 25 years and this, that, and the other, on her husband. And then the comments were, you deserve so much more. You're so strong. You're this, that. And I was the bitch that put in the comments, did you stay for 25 years?
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it was like I dropped a bomb.
Yeah.
And maybe she did because she had nowhere to go. Like I stayed
Right.
longer than I should have stayed in my marriage.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
me
am
too.
not judging.
Yeah.
I'm not judging. I'm not calling you a piece of shit. I'm not saying you deserved it. I'm
Right.
just wanting to shake you awake a little and say, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you stay that long?
Right. And
At
most
what
of
point did you? Yeah.
Yeah, and most
So
people that are conditioned and programmed and abused, they will stay because they have a lack of knowledge and resources, a lack of confidence and boundaries. But at what point are you going to say, enough is enough? I have got to do something different?
yeah.
Yeah. So I agree with that.
Yeah. And I think that work is work.
Hmm.
So some people might say, I don't want to forgive, but they'll go to a therapist every single week and pay a lot of money. Uh, I'm not knocking it, therapy can be fine for people.
Hmm.
Doing the work on forgiveness is also, it's work.
Yeah.
And you choose what work you want to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to forgive or do you just want to go to a therapist and bitch about it and be told, you're such a good person, they really screwed with you, you don't, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't get out of doing the work if you're interested in personal growth or spiritual development.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
it is, I mean, Caroline Myss, I'm not a big fan of Caroline Myss, but she has this great analogy of spiritual development being like an apartment building. And there are those who live on the bottom floor and those who take the time to walk up those steps and walk up those steps. And in the
Yeah.
first floor, all you see is the parking lot. And in the penthouse, you see the entire world. You have a 360 view of, a panoramic view, but it took you work to get up there.
Yeah, it did.
So, yeah. And to me, it's a fantastic way to, the fourth floor, the fifth floor, and each time you get to see a little bit more and the view gets prettier. But you got to climb up those steps. And there are some people that just say, I just want to stay here. This is
Yeah.
as far as I'm willing to go, or
And
whatever.
that's, and like, no shame on them. That's part of their journey and that's totally
No,
okay. Like, you're allowed to do that.
absolutely. Yeah,
But you're right. Like it does take steps. It does take work. It takes heavy lifting to ch just change the trajectory of everything that, you're going through.
yeah.
I have a situation in my many years ago, I guess my daughter died in 2012. And
Oh my God, I'm
there
sorry.
was a very nasty situation that developed around her death. And it was untimely, it was unexpected, it was an accident. She was a little, she wasn't even 3 yet. And without getting too much into that, the people that were involved, I can honestly say I will never like them. And I will not forgive them in the sense like, oh, I forgive you. What I will do, though, which could be considered the same thing, is I can honor their part in that story. I can honor that I played a part, they played a part, and that took place for a reason, for all of our development. I can honor that and let it go without saying I forgive them because I will never be like, oh, my abusers get off scot-free because that's not what this is about. But I can
No,
say I accept that this was here for all of our evolution, whether it felt
yeah,
good or not, and move on. And will they ever have a part in my play again? No, absolutely not. That access
got
will
it.
forever be closed. But that doesn't mean that I wish them harm. It also doesn't mean I wish them well necessarily because I don't give a fuck about them. But I'm not wishing them harm either. I'm just like, thank God you're not in my life doing any more harm in my life.
Yeah.
But that was because I was doing the work to make sure they had no access. So
Wow.
it's the same thing
Yeah.
as forgiveness without the fluffy forgiveness title. You know what I mean? It's the acceptance.
Yeah, it's the acceptance and the letting go that things could have been any different, because you accept that this was for your evolution. You accept that her role was yeah, to come here and teach something.
Yeah.
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 Wow. That's
And
powerful.
and I can share in your fatherless journey too, because so I've never had a father. and still to this day, actually. I have a sperm donor that I have nothing to do with. Um,
Yeah.
and I have a man that raised me that was my actual dad, and he did die when I was young. I think I was about 14. I was about 14 when he died. And he raised me as his own, but I did not know that he was not my actual dad until I was like 8 or 10 years old. So I'd been fatherless technically all those years, but had a surrogate, the stepdad that was raising me as his own.
Yeah.
But then he died, and I found out, he wasn't my dad and all the things. So after that, I ended up meeting my real biological dad in Utah. And we did have a couple years where we were okay when I was a teenager. And I'm super thankful for that time that we got to connect over those couple years. However, since then, I want to say since about 1999, we've had zero relationship. I um I can appreciate that he helped bring me into the world, and that's about as far as that goes. He is in a place where he likes to control the narrative with everybody in his life. So, and by doing that, he's very fear-based and he likes to tell people, the things that are important to him are stupid and like it's super just like closed-minded, all the things just kind of smears people.
Yeah.
Super manipulative, whatever he can do to stay in control, or what he thinks is in control. And because of that, we will never have anything to speak on like together. Like we will never get
That's your boundary.
along. Yeah. We will never
Yeah.
get along and I will not engage in a conversation with him or anyone that feels it's okay to tear humans apart. That's not
Yeah.
acceptable behavior.
No.
Yeah.
1999 is the year that I ended my relationship with my dad.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
oh man. It's I actually even
Yeah.
had a fairly recent interaction with him. I want to say it was last summer. And it was the first time I'd seen him or interacted with him in I want to say since like 2015. And I was kind of like, I don't know how this is going to go, right? Because I know how it's always gone before. But I'll be honest, my youngest daughter she wanted to see him and she wanted to get to know her real grandpa. And even though I knew what a disappointment he was and had been for me and my other
Yeah.
children, I wasn't going to deny her the opportunity to figure it out for herself. My story didn't have to be her story. So I was like, okay, I will take you over there. We will do the thing. But the moment I feel like a boundary needs to be set, it will be set. And she was like, okay. So we went over there. We had, I want to say, the first hour, it was a decent conversation. And then they asked me questions about what do you want to write books about? What do you want to do these things with? And I expressed what I was working on in my path. Oh, nobody needs that horse shit. Okay, it's time to
Done.
go, guys. We're done. So, like, the moment you decide that my entire life path is horseshit, you mean nothing
Yeah.
to me. Because that's like me saying to him, well, your entire life means nothing. Like all your hobbies are stupid, all the whatever it is, right? So, like, the moment that happened and he felt like it was okay to emotionally abuse me and shame me. I was like, okay, you just
Yeah.
proved exactly why I've stayed away all these years, and I'm not going to engage in
Yeah.
this conversation anymore. And cool, I'm glad you showed yourself to my kids because they needed to see that too. So we left, and that was that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I had an interaction with my dad a few years ago also. This is and basically he wanted to start a relationship like from today forward and he's not going to talk about the past and he's not going to apologize for anything
right,
because apologizing, you don't apologize to your child. There's a hierarchy here
right.
and
Hierarchy,
I'm like
patriarchy.
yeah, I'm like, dude, I apologize to my son all the time.
Yeah,
You know why? Because I'm not perfect. Because the fact that I was born 30 years before him does not mean I know everything. It doesn't mean I don't lose my temper and yell. I have said sorry to my son more times than my parents have ever said to me.
Yes.
And he won't. And I'm like, why would I want a relationship with someone who is aware that they have hurt me
Hmm.
and refuses to say I'm sorry, but says basically, let's have a relationship from this day forward? Like, what on earth makes you think that that is
There's no,
enticing
yeah, there's no
or
safety.
palatable?
Yeah, there's no safety in a dynamic like that. You can't ever
Yeah,
trust him to show up for you if he can't even say he's sorry or be accountable for anything.
right, right. It would be like lowering himself or
Yeah.
something. And I'm like, I'm your child. You can't say you're sorry to your child. And I think that aside from like showing that kind of, ego and pride, it basically says to me how little he thinks of me.
Hmm.
So I don't know why he thought this would be like some big grand gesture to write me an email and say, it's been many, many years, it's been 20 years, maybe we should, put the past behind us and move forward. And I was like, all right, let's talk. And he was like, no, we're not talking. We're not talking about the past.
So I'm going to open the door, but
Um,
then I'm still going to like shut down and not talk.
yeah,
That's,
yeah.
wow,
And yeah.
that's
And the thing is that
infuriating.
I don't even need him to say, like, I'm sorry I was a piece of shit.
Right.
Not at all. Like, I am aware that you were not taught to be a good father. I am aware that
Right.
you are an absolute product of your generation and your country and
For
your
sure.
programming from your absolutely.
Yeah.
And I forgave him a long time ago.
Hmm.
I didn't need him to apologize. I forgave him when I was working on healing from my marriage.
Yeah.
But the fact that he refuses it was so telling. And I was it was a few days where I could not I was like, it's been 20 years. How is he the same person? I am not the same person I was last year. Like when
I
you're dedicated to your personal
know.
growth,
Yeah.
it's shocking. And like you mentioned, like your dad, he had 1 hour and immediately like showed you exactly
It took no
how are
time at
you the same
all. Yeah.
person that you were 20 years ago?
Well, and that's the
Yeah,
mindset I have. Like there's some of us that are doing so much work that I don't even recognize the version of me from yesterday, let alone 10 years ago. But these
yeah,
people are so stuck in their
yeah.
conditioning and their mindset that there's zero growth happening. And it's like, how the fuck is that even possible? But it is. It's what they're
Yeah.
it's what they're choosing. It's the frequency that they're matching. It's where they live. And so it's go
Hmm.
I don't recognize it because I'm not there. You don't recognize it because you're not there. But that's the
Yeah.
same reason why they don't recognize us because they're not where we are. And so we just
Hmm.
go, all we can do
Yeah.
is part ways. Like that's all you can do.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's not about self-flagellating. And like I don't self-flagellate when I apologize to my son. Like even if my dad had said, "I'm so sorry, I didn't know better.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, my selfishness came before my family, and I'll
Yeah.
do better." I do not need you to be on your knees and tell me that you're a piece of shit. Absolutely not. I'm aware of what made you,
Yeah.
but the refusal is like, dude, uh, try next time. Try again next time
Yeah.
because this time it wasn't.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's
And
so
so, and
funny to
that's the
have that.
thing. That's the thing is I would be open to I guess I'd be open to like just venturing that relationship if I saw a consistent evolution happening, right?
Same.
But where there's none of that happening, that door will stay closed until either one of us dies. Like if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. Like I'm not going to open the door and give access to people, blood or not, um, to
Yeah.
just smear me and shame me and control me and berate me. Like that is not where I live. So yeah,
Same. It's not like the door is closed forever. The door is closed as long as you are the exact same person that you were.
right.
Now, you want to try something else? Let's talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like you,
I
like
love it. I love that we talked about the three things that I deal with so much with clients: identity, forgiveness, and
yeah,
boundaries.
we just touched those. And
All of them.
I'm
Yeah.
like you. I've done all the apologies in the world to my kids. Like I'm like not above it at all.
Yes.
I'm like I learned so much from them. And I also nanny. And I learned so much from the little guys, like so much.
Yes.
And I think that that sets us apart from the average Joe, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like we're tooting our own horn, but I think that when I honestly find this kind of work very lonely,
Yeah,
especially when you
it
start
is
leaving your
isolating.
tribe.
Yeah, it is
It's
isolating.
isolating. And
It is.
so, but yeah, because if you're climbing up to the top of the building, top of the apartment building, not everyone is making it. Not
Well, and
everyone
first of all,
chooses to
even if
keep
we are tooting our own
climbing.
horn, we're allowed to do that because it took us a lot of fucking sweat, blood, tears, like abusive cycles, all the things, betrayal of self. It's taken us so much to get to this point. So fuck yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
celebrate myself. Absolutely. But also, you're right. It is so isolating because when you're kind of shifting your playgrounds and you're moving from this frequency to that frequency, that interim, there's only you.
Yes.
And it can be that
Yeah.
way for years.
Yeah. That's the messy middle between li leaving your tribe and looking around and saying, "Oh, look at this life that I created.
Yeah.
Look at the people that I've invited into it."
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely. So let me ask you a question. What do you think are some big misconceptions about forgiveness?
Oh, I think people think that means that you're okay with what happened. It means that you have to invite this person into your life. I
Mhm.
think people believe that you need an apology in order to forgive.
Mhm.
I think there are a lot of misconceptions about forgiveness and boundaries. People think
Mhm.
boundaries are about being mean and being selfish,
Yeah,
and they're not. They're about self-love.
right.
So I don't know how old you are, but I'm 47. I'm Gen
I'm the same
Xer. I
age as
grew up in
you.
the
I'm
80s.
46,
Oh
so
my gosh.
yeah.
Okay, so we grew up in the 80s. We were not taught these things
No.
at all. Um, None of them. So what was I saying? Yeah, a lot of misconceptions about forgiveness. People don't realize that forgiveness is something you do for yourself to free yourself. Because who wants to walk around with a weight around, on their shoulders? And one thing I like to do, I used to do this with some women that I talked that because I found a lot of women when I did my healing, I wanted to be a fatherless daughter coach,
Mhm.
and I wasn't able to because what I found, no disrespect to anyone, what I found was that most of the women that I encountered did not want to heal.
Ah, okay.
Um, they kind of, I'm not going to say they liked it, but it was the sad story that they used for whatever,
Right.
to
For
feel
whatever they were
important, to
still
feel
getting out
whatever it
of
was,
it. Yeah.
whatever they were, yeah. And where was I going with this? Oh, so sometimes when I would talk to someone who was very much about, look what he did, look what he did, look what he did, I would say to them, who in the world is waiting for you to call them and apologize?
Right.
Because you might not have done what your dad did, but you're so not perfect.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that I am so aware that I'm not perfect that apologizing is easy. I'm not one of those perfectionists, or I'm not afraid to, yeah, I fucked that up. Sorry, won't do that
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So when people get very much into they owe me,
Yeah.
you really you've put aside your personal growth, and your personal growth doesn't come from someone apologizing to you. It comes from you apologizing to someone else because that took self-awareness and that took humility. And yeah, there's one thing that I really respect about the Jewish holiday Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement.
Mm-hmm.
What I really respect about it, and I'm not knocking Catholicism, but Catholicism, you go and you confess,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're told to say several Hail Marys or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In Judaism, it is not enough to go to the temple on Yom Kippur and apologize to God. You
Mm-hmm.
need to go to the person that you hurt and
Mm-hmm.
apologize to them. And what I respect about that and love about it is that it encourages self-awareness, humility, personal growth, true spirituality
Mm-hmm.
in having to do that and having to swallow your pride
Yeah.
and say, I know that I hurt you with this and it won't happen again. So, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know what I was saying.
Well, that's okay. I have more questions, so we
I think I
can.
lost the thread. Go ahead.
It's okay. I was going to say the other thing I was going to ask is, do you think forgiveness is required for healing, or are there other pathways?
I think forgiveness is required to be truly at peace and to be mentally healthy. I think it's a requirement for peace.
Yep.
And I don't think it has to be like you said, where you know, you're fluffy about it or you invite someone into your life. You have put obviously very strong boundaries regarding the death of your daughter, but you have accepted the event in your life.
Mhm.
I also feel like I really understand. Have you heard of Byron Katie?
It doesn't ring a bell right now.
Byron Katie is a woman, she's been everywhere.
I'm going to
You
write
can
this
find her
down
on
though.
YouTube and she has books. So
Okay.
Byron Katie goes so far as to say there is no such thing as forgiveness
Okay.
because everything was there for you, everything that
Right.
happened,
Yeah.
every horrific thing that happened. And most people, that is like
It's
on the
because
extreme
life's
end
happening for
of
you, not to
spirituality.
you.
Yeah, that is on
Yeah.
like the extreme end of spirituality. Most people can't grasp it. It
It's true
takes a minute to
though.
grasp it.
Yeah, it's
It
true
is
though.
true.
Yeah, it's and
Right.
so that's why I love that I asked this question and that we're having this conversation because like in reality, in our reality, I'm going to say our reality, right? And ideally what it would look like for whoever can ride this wave is there is no such thing as bad or good, which means there's no such thing as
Exactly.
forgiveness being needed. Somebody did this thing, that thing was done to evolve you. And
That's
those
exactly what Byron Katie
yeah, and
says.
so I a
And too
hundred
many
percent
people, right, but you're evolved, you're spiritual. Most people
right.
hear that and are like, what do you mean there is nothing
Well,
to
and
forgive?
I'll be honest,
Look at my
I,
ex-boyfriend, like they start listing the things,
yeah,
and you have to kind of help them to see, right, but the person that you are after that,
yeah.
the person that you are, yeah,
And I have to be honest, like my least favorite F word is forgiveness. I fucking hate that word because
it is an F word.
it's
Yeah.
so misunderstood. It's not, it's just, it's like the worst word ever, as far as I'm concerned. Because, well, and also I always replace it with acceptance because to me, acceptance is forgiveness. It's the same thing. Once you have an
To me,
idea of what
yeah,
silver lining is, what's the silver lining and where you can find acceptance, that is the forgiveness. That is the transformation right there. That's all of it.
yeah.
So
To me, I
for
think acceptance, yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was done.
To me, I think acceptance is this is the only way things could have gone, and nothing I ever do will change what happened.
Yep.
And I think forgiveness is the choice to stop feeling bad about what happened
Hmm.
in the sense that you decide that you decide to concentrate on the life ahead than the life in the past.
For sure. Absolutely.
Right.
Like
I think that's what forgiveness is,
that's the part of
yeah,
releasing
it's
it.
right. It's I could sit here and
Yeah.
like stay with this pain my entire life and it would serve me in many ways,
Yeah.
but I'm going to rise and I'm going to walk forward. And, I'm not going to stay in that pain. When it
Yeah.
comes up, I'm going to honor it or whatever and be grateful that I grew from it.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between forgiveness and acceptance, but I do understand. I also
Yeah.
understand when people say they're basically the same thing.
Well, for me, they are because, like, for me,
Mhm.
in acceptance comes the release of, you know what I mean? To
Yeah,
me, it's like the enmeshed step. So,
I
but I can
do.
understand the difference too that you're saying. So it's like, here's where I know I no longer have to sit with this. I don't have to stew in this.
Yes.
I can release this, and that's going to help me have the acceptance to move forward and all the things, right? So they are very intertwined, but like I can appreciate that separation as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
A lot of people call it the F word. That's so funny. Yeah, you're not the first to say
And
that.
I'm like, it's my least favorite F word because my first favorite F word, we all know, is a four-letter word. That's my favorite F word. That's
Yeah.
because I'm always dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you think it's necessary, like I said, to be at peace, or do you think you could find real peace even though you haven't forgiven the people responsible? Like at what level is your
what do you mean?
forgiveness when it
Like,
comes to inner peace?
so when I release so for me, like I'm at peace. Like if that is that, are you talking about like
Okay.
with my situation?
Yes.
Like my, okay. So for me, I'm at peace now where I wasn't before. Before
Okay.
I made the decision to evolve and put all the pieces together and find the acceptance of the role they played in my story. Before that, I was happily sitting there thinking of ways that I would love to murder them and go after them. And I would never be sad if something happened to them magically. All the things,
Yeah.
right? Because you're in such an excruciating place when you lose your child. It's the blame, it's the this, it's the that, it's the grief, it's the suffering, it's I wish you felt what she felt in those moments. It's all the things, right? And so I was obviously not in peace before. Whereas now I go, okay, I get you. I see your part. I don't give a fuck about you, but I do see your part. I can honor your part. And that's that. That's the end of that story. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's how I know the piece had happened because I shifted a mindset of I'm okay with you dying to to right, like I can honor the human depth that I was in at the moment and the
Yeah.
shift I'm in now. Yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty big
As a
shift.
psychic medium, yeah. As a psychic medium, do you have contact with your daughter or is it too
Oh,
close?
yeah. No, no, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I can and do see um whoever I want to talk to. Like there's no,
Oh,
yeah, there's no
yeah.
I was gonna say you asked a question about it being too close. Um Oddly enough, I wondered that at first, but she came to me right away. Like the night she died, she came to me. And so I was like, okay. So like
Wow.
it was instant and she was letting me
Yeah.
know that she was fine and she showed me that she was with my grandma and my guide. So I knew that they had carried her on from the hospital. So she came to me right away and she was, hey,
Yeah.
consoling the mom heart. I'm okay. This here's who took me, here's who I'm with right now, all the things. So,
Yeah. Well, just as I asked you if you could see her, I got very, very dizzy. And when I get dizzy, I don't have that much contact with the other side, but when they come forward,
mhm.
I get very, very dizzy. Like that's how I know that they're here. And I'll talk
Yeah,
to my grandparents on the other side, all four of them, and my best friend from high school who died like 12 years ago,
yeah,
at like 34. But right as I mentioned her, everything got very dizzy.
yeah.
So
Got a little
yeah.
hazy.
So someone's here.
Yeah,
Someone's here. Yeah.
for sure. Well, and also to be fair, I always have like a zillion with me. So like this is
Yeah.
never a quiet moment, I don't think.
Yeah, no, but this was specific because for the last hour we've been talking, I didn't feel dizzy. And then
True.
suddenly at mentioning her,
And then
it,
Nick, yeah.
and that's my sign that, okay, pay attention because someone's here.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
when
it's very
she's
specific for me.
yeah. Okay, gotcha. So she stepped forward in that moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it. That makes sense. I love that you have that awareness too, because that is so important for people that are tapping into their abilities to like be able to discern how it shows up for you specifically, which is what you
yeah,
said. You were like, nah, this is very specific for, and I love that because that's the best way to learn like how to
yeah,
be really comfortable with your abilities. So that's perfect.
yeah.
Good
It doesn't
stuff.
happen often, but when it does, that's my sign. Yeah,
Well, that's fabulous. And thank you for sharing that with me. Um,
yeah.
So let's see. Okay, so is there any last words of wisdom that you would like to give to our audience that maybe needing healing or forgiveness
Yes.
or yeah, okay.
Your love for yourself is more important than anyone else's love for you. And that includes your tribe, and that includes people that you're afraid to put up boundaries with. Um, your love for yourself is more important than anyone else's. It's more important than your mom's or your dad's or your spouse's or your children. And because we are born alone and we die alone, I love the idea of dependence in that, we all need each other, we're all walking each other home. Like that's fantastic. At the same time, know that because your love for yourself is more important than anyone else's, it means that you have to be aware of what might be hurting you and be able to step away or put up boundaries where they are needed. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say that.
I love that because that's like holding on to the snake that's still biting you kind of thing, like being able to let it go
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Or who am I if I'm not my mother's daughter? Or who am I if I am not of this religion and go to this particular church? And who am I if you know, and in staying in that role, um, you're not loving yourself well, and you're
right.
relying on the love of another to like lift you up,
Well, and
and yours is more important.
the expectations that others have, they're like, oh, you have to show up this way for us. And so it's like
Exactly.
dropping all those expectations and those labels and freeing yourself.
Yes. Understanding that your love for yourself is more important than anyone else's love for you is breaking free of expectations.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So when anyone's looking for you online, what are the best ways they can reach you if they want to work with you or reach out to you?
So I'm on Instagram as Quantum Crystal Healer,
Okay.
and I don't know if I sent you this, but I will. I'll send you my links for my freebie and for my website in
Oh,
case you want to
yes.
book a healing session.
Let me write that down too so I don't forget to. So you're going to send the links for.
Yeah,
Do you
I'll
want
send
me?
it.
Okay. Okay.
I'll send it in an email.
Perfect, because then I can pop them in your show notes too. So that is
Okay.
perfect. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Rachel. You have been an
Thank you,
absolute delight to
April.
talk to, and I love that we have had a lot of common ground. But
Yeah.
I can't wait to publish this episode, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Bye, you guys.
Bye, people.